One step forward, two steps backwards. That's pretty much the state of Italian soccer right now in European club competitions. What a bad week it was for Italian teams in the Champions League, in the Europa League. We go two steps forward. Sometimes we take a step backwards here on the Calcio Guys with Adreano, Donardo, and myself, Nicholas Di Giovanni. Unfortunately, our last show of 2018.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Not too bad yourself.
Pretty good. I'm kind of disappointed it's our last show. I'm kind of sad.
Me too.
Christmas has to fall on a Tuesday this year, so we can't really do a show on that day. We're going to be with our families,
Exactly.
which is obviously more important.
Yeah.
And so this week, because it's our last show, we decided to do a Team of the Year. That's coming up at 2:30.
Yeah, so definitely stay tuned for that.
That's a positive segment that we're going to be doing, and I think, as I just mentioned, we're going to be starting off Champions League. I mean, what went wrong for Napoli and for Inter to get the boot from the UCL?
Well, I mean, for these teams, as we discussed, last week, it was never going to be easy. They're playing good teams in the Champions League, and some of them, these teams like Inter, Napoli, they had to depend on other results. So when you have to depend on other results, that's doubles the pressure, doubles the anxiety, and it really, you really have to go out there and just play your game. Unfortunately, Napoli couldn't score against Liverpool. They had the opportunities. They definitely had the chances to do that, but they couldn't finish. On Inter's side, that's tough. The Barca Tottenham game. That was tough because Barca had the lead for the longest time, and Tottenham got that late equalizing goal, which kind of ruined Inter's dreams. But they had to go there and they had to go fight and they had to go score goals or score more goals, and they weren't able to do that, unfortunately. And both teams, unfortunately, are going down to Europa League. But you know what? I do still think that they should keep their heads held up high, because they both had great group stage games, and it'd only be better going forward.
It's funny you say they had to rely on other results. At the end of the day, if Napoli won and if Inter won, they'd be through. So
it's easier said than done.
Inter actually got the help that they needed from Barca. Barca drew Tottenham, so that means Napoli needed the win.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Napoli needed the win, but then this happened early on.
Owen Bergwijn's in there. Samoa dispossessed. Great chance. 1-0 PSV. Irving Lozano.
So, between Inter and Napoli, who do you think took the biggest L?
Well, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I do think both teams, took a bit of an L, as you say there. But if I'd actually have to choose, I don't know. It's probably, I don't know. I want to go with the Snakes just because it's the Snakes. But you know what? I can't really point a finger just because both teams had the means to do it. I know they had tough teams in their groups, but they should have been able to to get past. Unfortunately, they didn't. But if I had to choose, you know what, I'd probably stay with Inter, to be honest with you. Yourself?
Yeah, definitely Inter. I mean, Napoli, to be honest, you can't blame them too much.
Exactly.
Because they had to win at Anfield. Anfield is not an easy place to win. They played a good game, and they just got beat on one mistake, on one brilliant play by Mo Salah. This is a player we saw beat Roma last year in the Champions League. He beat a lot of teams last year in the Champions League. And Liverpool was fighting for their lives. We spoke to Alex Perez last Tuesday about them. He said, if they don't go through, it's going to be very disappointing. And then, obviously, it doesn't help when this happens.
Swung in there by Callejon. Oh, Milik! Remarkable save by Alisson. And what a vital one.
That really could have changed the course of the Champions League.
Yeah.
Arkadiusz Milik on Alisson right at the end.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, was it a Alisson save, or was it just, that's where I just hit him? Like, well, that's up for debate there. But
a bit of both.
A bit of both, I would say, yeah. But no, that could have definitely just changed everything right there with that Milik goal.
Milan, rough go in Athens.
Yeah.
Including this.
Fortunis, the captain, can seal it for Olympiacos. It's an excellent penalty under huge pressure. Olympiacos are threatening to leapfrog Milan and dump them out of the Europa League.
Milan could have taken a loss against Olympiacos and still could have gone through. They were down 2-1 at one point, and it still would have meant they went through, and it's just tough go at the end. But I don't know, man. That penalty, Abate on former Serie A player Torasidis.
Yeah, that's debatable. I don't know.
That's a big call to make that late in the game.
Exactly. I mean, with I guess so much on the line. I guess in that moment of the game, and call a penalty like that, that's in my opinion a little soft. But that they get called, they don't get called, so it's a bit of inconsistency with those. But you know what, as you said, just at the timing of the call, how the game was going, everything was going, against Milan. The second goal for Olympiacos was that like crazy bounce that happened to beat Reina there, that just bounced over everybody off of Zapata, and it went past Reina. So that's pretty fortunate, I guess, for Olympiacos. But the penalty at the end, that just kind of put the dagger in our hearts, and we're out of the Europa League. But what, it hurts because for Milan, a competition like Europa League, I would have liked to see them go forward. I understand it's not Champions League caliber, but it is another way to for the team that's been missing Champions League for so long to get back into that competition with a Europa League win. But I mean, at the end of the day, that's what happened, and we're just gonna have to fight our way in in the league. So we'll go on from there.
Well, I think it's easier to finish top four in the Serie A than it is to win the Europa League if you're looking for that qualifier.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Champions League. Juventus and Roma survive. Round of 16 draw was yesterday morning. Juventus, okay, out of all due respect to Porto, who obviously Roma drew, Juventus got the tougher team, despite finishing first and Roma finishing second. It's fair to say Atletico is better than Porto. Again, all due respect to Porto.
Yeah.
Porto's not a bad team.
No.
Roma can't be taking this lightly.
No.
There's no bad teams left in the Champions League. That's why it's a Champions League round of 16. But it's going to be tough for Juventus.
It will be. I mean, as you said, Atletico is no pushover team at all. So, I mean, that's going to be definitely tough. But you know what? I mean, that's how the draw goes. I guess sometimes it's unfortunate that I don't know actually if it's unfortunate, just because I don't know if you rather get these bigger teams out early, or would you rather face them later on in the Champions League? I mean, that's really up for debate. I mean, seeing as you're a Juve fan, how do you like that draw?
It's tough because it's better to get the good teams out of the way early. If you're going. Yeah. There's a reason why Atletico finished second in their group with Dortmund.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's the Champions League. To be the best, you have to beat the best. And Juve faced Tottenham last year in the round of 16. They played Barcelona 2 years ago in the quarterfinals. They played Real Madrid last year in the quarterfinals. There's no such thing as an easy matchup, as we said. If there's any Juventus fans, you could call 514-848-7471.
Nicholas would love to hear from you.
Want to have a word with their matchup. It's going to be a really good defensive game. For everyone who likes tight tactical soccer, Max Allegri versus Diego Simeone, that's the dream matchup.
Yeah.
If anyone likes attacking, fun soccer with a lot of goals, just don't even watch this.
No, but I mean, they both can, they both have the means to score a lot of goals. There's quality on both sides in both attacks. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if there are, a couple of goals scored on each side. But as you said, the defensive matchups, that's, it's going to be a good hard-fought battle for sure.
And then Europa League, we've got a couple of minutes left before break. Lazio gets Sevilla. That'll be very good. And then Inter, and then Napoli kind of got two lower teams. I think Inter got Rapid Vienna.
Yeah.
And Napoli, I'm blanking on the name.
I don't know. They got some team I don't even remember from where, but it's one of those.
Oh, Zurich. They got Zurich.
Oh, Zurich. Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, as you said, two lower end teams there, but I mean the real matchup I think will be Lazio Sevilla.
That'll be a good game.
Immobile's former team as well. So.
Oh, that's true.
So
that's true.
you never know what you're gonna get out of that game.
It's never easy playing in Sevilla either.
No,
that stadium is a tough stadium to play in.
Yeah, and they're so They have so much, like history in Europe. If it's Europa League, Champions League, you know what? They're proven winners, is what I'm trying to say. And you know what? It's not going to be an easy test for Lazio.
And they won, what was it, three Europa Leagues in a row?
Yeah, so
it's their tournament.
Yeah, no walk in the park for sure.
It's definitely their tournament. But you know what I like about the Europa League? It's you start off with the round of 32 in February.
Yeah.
And by the time you're done, the round of 16 is at the same time that Champions League is done the round of 16. Champions League, the round of 16 takes a month and a half. Takes a long time to complete all the games.
Yeah.
Europa League does 2 rounds in the same time.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of teams to get through, so
There is.
they do the scheduling pretty well, so it's good.
You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CGLO 1690.
It's deep towards Milinkovic-Savic, and Chervi was there as well. Francesco and Chervi with a dramatic equaliser for Lazio. Still we wait. Oh, look at this, the tension of VAR. Absolutely extraordinary. Have you ever seen a referee's decision greeted with such joy? Goal disallowed.
A week after we had 3 90th minute game-tying goals in the Serie A, we almost had one this week. It was in yesterday's game. Francesco Acerbi almost tied it against Atalanta for Lazio, but it was called back due to VAR. His foot was offside. Just an unfortunate ending for Lazio, who now has gone 7 straight winless.
Yeah. As you said, unfortunate. I think that's the best way to describe that sequence over there. Especially late in the game like that, VAR taking extensive amount of time to make that call. I guess, at the end of the day, I guess they made the right call. It is unfortunate that's what it came down to, a heel offside. But I mean, as we were discussing before the show, that is the rule. But it's just unfortunate because Lazio, they kind of been on a bit of a downer. They've kind of been going through this roller coaster ride of results and fixtures over these past couple of weeks, and you know what? Already they got a tough matchup in Europa League with Sevilla in that draw. Now they go to Atalanta and they lose 1-0. I think they're what position are they in? I think they're still in 5th. So I guess that's kind of a positive. But Atalanta's creeping up behind them with this victory. So you know what? I'm surprised because they did have they had the possession, they had the opportunities to score. But you know what? You're not going to win a game when you have 16 shots in the game and only 2 on target. That is like horrible. So you're not going to be able to win many games that way. I understand, they had the opportunities, but you got to finish when you do have these opportunities, and they couldn't do that over the weekend.
Another team that was sliding before this, Fiorentina, they actually hadn't won a game since September.
Yeah.
And I found that hard to believe. They won 3-1 on the weekend against Empoli, another Tuscan rival. I was actually surprised when I found that out. A lot of draws for Fiorentina, but they've been keeping in there. They're kind of battling for Europa League spot right now. No,
they're in 10th at the moment. But as you said, they kind of had a bit of a slump. So it's only positive, going forward. And if they continue the way they've been playing these past 2 weeks or so, I think they can definitely push for Europe. If Simeone kind of gets going again, as he's proven to do. So far these past 2 weeks, I think that'll only be a plus. Another plus, I think, is Mirallas. He kind of was quiet in the first stretch of the season-ish, and
almost we didn't hear his name.
Exactly, or didn't play or didn't really come off the bench, and now he's contributing in a big way for Fiorentina. So that's what they need. They need these guys to step up, and they need these results to go their way, and they'll definitely be on their way going forward.
Cross at the far post, the header, and it's 2-1 to Fiorentina. Giovanni Simeone.
That was Simeone's second goal in as many games. Kevin Morales also scored 2 goals in 2 games. Roma was another team that was slumping. They picked up the 3-2 win at home against Genoa. Bit of a controversy in this one. I think Genoa had a goal called back due to VAR. And then Pandev was, I think, pushed inside the box in the 90th plus minute, and they didn't go to VAR. So Francesco Totti's been complaining about VAR all season, and finally goes their way. And Eusebio Di Francesco could thank VAR because it kind of saved his job.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's been tough for Roma, I guess, with the VAR calls. But at the end of the day, if you're depending on these calls, to win your games, it shows that you're not producing much on for yourself. So as much as that does come into play, it is part of the game now, VAR. So it definitely does have an impact. But you gotta be playing better, especially against a team like Genoa. That's kind of they're an okay team. I mean, they're no pushover, but at the same time, a team like Roma should be getting past them almost with ease. But it's tough because VAR won't always be in your court. So I mean, when it does, you count your blessings. But when it isn't, you can't complain too much. But I mean, they have been on the short end of the stick, I guess, a couple of times. Them and Lazio included. So that's tough. But they did get the 3-2 win over the weekend against Genoa, and which is very needed for them because we've been mentioning, I think, every week almost that they're so inconsistent. And you know what? They finally got a result, going forward, and they can definitely bank off this and hopefully continue with these results.
Chievo Verona.
Yeah, they
drew again
Yeah.
in a boring 0-0 game against Spal.
Yeah.
That really, I didn't even watch the highlights. I watched every single highlights of every single game for the show.
Yeah.
I didn't even click on those highlights. 0-0. It was a 6:30 game Sunday morning. But Chievo, I think it's 4 or 5 straight games now that they picked up a point, but they're still about I think 4 points behind even Bologna, who's just 1 spot ahead of them. So if they want to continue their push for in the safety zone, they really need to start winning games.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a given. You gotta win games, to get out of that kind of spot that they're in. Granted, I mean they were in the negatives for forever when we started this show, when they started the season. So I mean, I guess it's a positive that they're in the positives, and I guess you're kind of close to that safety zone, but which is shocking to me because they look just horrible up until the past couple of weeks. So they're working some magic again. They are getting somewhat positive results with these draws, but as you said, no, the win is definitely crucial going forward.
Bologna. So Milan plays Bologna later this afternoon. I know we
in 7 minutes.
Yeah, 7 minutes. We already kind of touched upon those games last week.
Yeah.
But Bologna, they're a team that's in serious trouble too. So I wouldn't say it's an easy game for Milan. It's number 4 versus number 18, but it's going to be tough for both sides actually.
Yeah, I mean, this is a winnable game. This has to be a win going forward for Milan. These games against these teams going forward up until about Christmas time are all games that they should be picking up points. I don't see a loss in the cards, but at the end of the day, you never know what you're going to get with Milan. So I guess a positive. Romano is back for the game. I saw in the probable lineups that he should be starting alongside Zapata. They're going with the 4-4-2 because Gattuso is going to stick with that. Unfortunately, I don't know. Çalhanoğlu is on the left-hand side, which I don't know. I haven't really liked his play as of late, but he's out there again with Higuain and Cutrone and Suso up on top there. So, I mean, I guess it's just, the typical 4-4-2. They should be getting this result. I don't see them losing. You know what? They got to get a positive result in this game just so, their confidence builds going forward. Because the Olympiacos game, as we said, was definitely a downer. So, I mean, I would definitely hope for a victory, and it should be a victory in my books.
You want to go for yellow card, red cards of the week for Serie A match day? Was it 16 this week?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. You can go first.
Since Gianni's not here, we'll go.
Gianni. Sorry, you want to join into the conversation a bit? Maybe this guy is always missing.
He's always missing. Happy birthday to Marcello for Giuele.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah, Milan called Montreal. I'm wearing the scarf today. In support for Milan, and it's his birthday today. He, he's a great guy, and he deserves all the best.
You're wearing the scarf. I'm wearing the vintage 2006 Alex Del Piero shirt.
Yeah,
I think it's the first time. I don't know. Have I worn the shirt on the show before?
I don't know.
For our YouTube viewers?
I don't. For our many YouTube viewers. No, I don't think so. I think.
I know you did.
I wore the Francesco Totti one. Ways back now, but I think it's the first time you bust out the Del Piero out of the closet. So it's good.
Definitely the nicest shirt in my closet.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's your yellow card of the week.
My yellow card of the week, I'm probably going to have to go back to that Lazio game and Atalanta game that we just discussed before. they allowed a goal in the first minute of the game. When you're allowing goals in the first minute of the game, that is just a total L in my books, I guess you can say. That shouldn't be happening. I think it was Radu. We were watching the highlights before. I think it was Radu that tried to clear that ball, and he pretty much passed it right to Duvan Zapata, who has been, lights out these past 2 weeks, 4 goals in 2 games there. So for me, that's sloppy defense. Lazio in a tough position. They don't have much breathing room, and they just kind of shot themselves in the foot again, in my opinion. Getting this result against Atalanta there. So for me, I'm gonna have to give my card to Lazio.
This is definitely going to be another yellow.
So I'm going to have to give a yellow card to a player who already received a yellow card.
Alexandro, that's another robust challenge from Simeone Zatsa. Referee already reaching for his pocket. Yellow card for the former Juventus man.
So I guess if I give him a yellow, he technically gets red. So, but I'm only giving him a yellow. I'm going to give my red to something else.
Okay.
It's Simone Zaza, the way he played against Juventus. So sometimes when you play your former club, it's an emotional time, right?
Yeah.
And Zaza let those emotions get the better of him in the Derby della Mole on Saturday. He went into that challenge against Alexandro really late. It could have been easily a red. It was almost steads up. And he was a red card waiting to happen. And it was bad to see. He's done a good job this season for Torino. He's had a good striking partnership with Bellotti. And they just were both off on Saturday. And the rest of the Torino team played well. They had a good match against Juve. It was one of the rare Derby della Moles that was actually good. And Zaza let those emotions get the better of him. And it's not fun to see, Even if you're playing your former team, hurt them on the scoreboard.
Yellow card here.
Red card?
You know what? It's tough. I do agree with a bit with what you're saying, but I'm gonna have to stick with that match as well. I don't know. I'm not a fan of the referee in that game, Marco Guida. He's doing now 2 derbies in a couple of weeks now with the Derby della Madonnina and now the Derby della Mole. And I don't know his calls. There could have easily been, I think, a penalty shot for Torino. Alexandro, talking about Zaza and Alexandro, Zaza. I don't know if it was much of an embellishment, but in my books, he kind of got pulled down a bit in the box. But I don't know. It just Marco Guida. I'm not a fan of him, so I'm gonna have to give him a bit of a card in these derby games where they mean so much. There's so much to play for. I'm gonna have to give it for Marco Guida.
This is going to be a red card, and is that going to change the course of the game?
For you?
By the way, on that incident between Zaza and Sandro was pulling Zaza,
Yeah.
But Zaza was also pulling Sandro. So that's probably why there wasn't a penalty given. And for me, my red card's going to have to go to all Italian teams in the European competitions last week. Not even a single win in, 6 games, 5 games?
Yeah.
Just a red card to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's a red card.
Coming up,
Big things.
the Calcio Guys team of the season. I'm excited about this one. We had our past guest contribute on this one.
Yeah, so shout out to everybody who got back with their team of the years.
We'll announce who that is later, and you'll find out who made the Calcio Guys team of 2018 next on the Calcio Guys on CJO 1690.
Nicely by Metz. Kaya Horn. Insigne! They've left it late, but the local boy has secured surely 3 Champions League points for Napoli. Oh, and Icardi is there! It's him again on Derby Day for Inter. They took their time, but the winner has finally arrived.
Slipped into the channel for Ronaldo, who's out on that flank for the moment. His cross deflected towards Cuadrado and then turned in by Dybala. And Juventus strike first in Manchester.
Chance here, Lazio! Ciro Immobile! 1-1 in the derby now. That really was a poacher's goal.
Those are some of the players that are on the Calcio Guys Team of the Year, Team of 2018. You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CJO 1690 with Adreano and Donardo and myself, Nicholas DiGiovanni. So as we said, some of our past guests contributed in this voting, I guess, for our Team of the Year. That included Giulia Villa, Matt Fercucci, Marcello Furgiuele, Steve Polillo, Nando Musano, Francesco Alberga, and Alessia Di Sabato.
Yeah.
We put in our 3
Yeah.
teams, including Gianni, who's not here.
Yeah.
And we came up with a collective Calcio Guys Team of the Year. So we'll go position by position. We'll start off with Allison. Picked up 5 of the 10 votes.
Yeah.
That's pretty fair for what he did. So, by the way, our rules were any club competition, Champions League, Europa League, Coppa Italia, Serie A, and the player could have played in the Serie A at any point in the season. So that's why Allison is on this.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, well-deserved, as you said. He won it in real life, and, he won it with us here. So it's good.
Other goalies who picked up votes, by the way, Wojciech Chesney and Gijo Donnarumma. Also, Pepe Reina.
Yeah, with Johnny. Yeah,
Johnny.
He had to include Pepe Reina.
He had to include Pepe Reina. Moving on to defense, it was pretty unanimous. So our formation, by the way, is a 3-4-1-2 or 3-5-2, depending how you look at it.
Yeah.
So we had 3 defenders, and Kalidou Koulibaly put on every single team. Nobody didn't include Kalidou Koulibaly.
Yeah, I mean.
And Giorgio Chiellini, 8 of the 10 teams. Joao Cancelo, 6 of the 10. So I know Joao Cancelo is a right back, but in this formation, they're not actually playing together. He's considered just one of the 3
defender. Yeah,
one of the 3 defenders.
Exactly.
Koulibaly, he wasn't included on the short list for African Player of the Year, which blows my mind.
It does, definitely. He definitely should have been. Come on, I mean, Koulibaly, he's been as Johnny I think mentioned in another show. He's been just dominant in the back line for Napoli, and they kept him for a reason, and they didn't sell him off for all the offers that they got. So it shows that he's quality.
He's just amazing. Well deserved that he was put on all 10 teams. Moving on to midfielders now. So we have 2 holding midfielders, 2 wingers, and an attacking midfielder. Which, by the way, other defenders not named. So Alexander Kolarov, 3 votes, and Milan Skriniar, 3 votes.
Okay.
Alexandro just missed out. He got 4 votes. So just missed out on our team of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So moving on to the midfielders, another obvious one, 9 out of 10 votes. Sergei Milinkovic-Savic.
Yeah, SMS, baby. He's everywhere.
Alan got 5 votes, and then out wide we have Lorenzo Insigne with 4, and Douglas Costa with 4, and then our attacking midfielder is Paulo Dybala with 7. Kind of makes sense, this midfield.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could have been a bit of changes, maybe in like the deeper roles there. A guy like I think Nangolan definitely would have deserved something there, but I mean, that the people spoke, and that's what they say. So we're gonna have to go with that.
The people spoke. If anyone wants to call in and have their say, disagree with our team of the season,
Yeah.
514-848-7471.
Yeah, give us a call for sure.
Give us a call at CGLO. So we were doing midfielders. So Suso actually got 3. He's one of the leading assist players right now in the Serie A.
Yeah.
Luis Alberto had, I'm trying to see here, 1?
Yeah, that was mine.
1. Just once.
Yeah.
Luis Alberto.
Which I think he should have deserved a lot more. He had a hell of a year statistically and, just contributing for Lazio. So I definitely think he should have been in there.
Definitely. Nicolo Barella.
Really?
Someone put Nicolo Barella and Blaise Matuidi. Ivan Perisic was also on there for midfielders. So Nangolan, Pjanic each got 2 votes. Jorginho got 2 votes. So did Alejandro Gomez. And I already said Suso got 3.
Mm-hmm.
So Dybala, I wasn't too sure. Some people put him on as a forward. Some people put him on as a midfielder. That's why I created this
cam
position.
Yeah.
That, by the way, I consider Dries Mertens and Luis Alberto to be part of that. They each got a vote in this kind of cam position if somebody put them there.
Yeah.
Alberto, like you said, he definitely should have gotten more votes. I think it's because he hasn't had a good start to this season.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the stats spoke for themselves, I think, last season, and he definitely helped Lazio in a big way. And you know what? I think he just got, honestly just overlooked. There's so many stars in Serie A, and there's so many good players, and I think he just simply got overlooked. But I definitely think it's good that you mentioned him, because I think he definitely deserves a mention.
Forwards now.
Yeah.
I'll name you the forwards that weren't on the list first.
Okay.
Fabio Quagliarella,
Yeah.
Krzysztof Piątek, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And yeah, that's about it for forwards.
Okay.
I think you could guess who the two forwards are.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you have the list right there.
yeah. Well, I mean, regardless of the list, no list. I mean, it's Icardi, it's Immobile. Those are the two guys that led the league in scoring last year with 29 goals each. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. They're quality players and one of two of the better strikers, I would say, probably definitely in Serie A and probably even in Europe as well. So it's definitely good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Icardi got 8 votes. Immobile got 7.
So yeah, I mean,
only a couple people didn't have them. One actually didn't have either, which I was a bit surprised, but that's okay. And I'm just kind of looking at everyone's roster. Yeah, Icardi Immobile. That's pretty much it. Imagine if these two played together.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Actually, I don't think as much as they're so dominant. I think it's best that they do play separately because they're that guy.
Exactly.
They're the guy that they need to get the ball to, and that definitely need to put the ball in the back of the net. And I don't know if they would feed off each other as well as many people probably would think.
I definitely agree with that. And they're both the type of player that right now they each have kind of a number 10 with them. Immobile does really well with Luis Alberto or
Correa this season.
Yeah, Joaquim Correa.
Yeah.
And then Inter got Lautaro Martinez to be that guy with Icardi.
Yeah.
So you put those two number 9s together. When you put two number 9s together,
it doesn't work.
Not too good.
That's why there's a number 9. There's a number 10.
Yeah, exactly. You got to have
a reason for that.
Or you got to have a big number 9 and a kind of a smaller forward. So if you put Immobile with a guy like Mertens,
yeah, I think that would work.
That would work a lot better because Mertens could kind of drop down a bit.
Dybala too would probably work.
Dybala, that's why Dybala could play well with Cristiano. While we're on this topic, I don't know if you saw, but Wanda Icardi,
Wanda
Nara said that Juventus wanted to buy Mauro Icardi in the summer to play with Cristiano.
Yeah, of course.
I'm calling that a lie.
Yeah,
a big lie, because no way Juventus would have wanted Icardi to play with Cristiano Ronaldo after they sold Gonzalo Higuain. And no way Inter would have sold Mauro Icardi to their main rival.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, I think as they call it, paper talk. I mean, that's Wanda Nara that definitely just, getting the tabloids, being in the papers, just to get some more talk on them. I mean, so she's good for that. That's she's his agent. So I mean, what else is she gonna do? She needs to get his name out there somehow. So I mean, stuff like this, it's just like one of those things that you look at it and you laugh because I mean, I would be surprised if you even want to go there. To be honest with you, I understand they're the champions, but I mean, he's done so much for Inter, and I don't see him honestly leaving, especially to Juve or to any pretty much team in Serie A. If anything, maybe abroad, but definitely not to Juve, especially with Ronaldo getting picked up in the summer. So no.
The only place he's going is on our 2018 Team of the Year.
Yeah.
So to repeat, so we have Alisson Nets, Giorgio Chiellini, Kalidou Koulibaly, and Joao Cancelo as our defenders.
Yep.
At midfield, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, Douglas Costa, Alain, Lorenzo Insigne, and Paulo Dybala. And then up front, Mauro Icardi and Ciro Immobile. If you had to name a coach for this team, who would it be? Coach of the year?
I mean, I guess maybe like the obvious vote would probably be Allegri. I personally, I don't know. I don't really agree with that. I think just based off of last year, Simone Inzaghi had a good campaign. I think he's a coach now that kind of gets overlooked, especially now this season that he's kind of been all over the place. Another guy, Di Francesco, he did well last year, but this year he's not as good. Another like lower end, I guess you can say, Marco Giampaolo for Sampdoria. I think he's a good coach. You know what? He definitely gets his team going, and he definitely gets results when needed. You know what? I mean, I'm wearing my Milan stuff today. They start in, I think, now, so their game. But Gattuso, I mean, as many people like to criticize him, I mean, he gets behind his players a lot, and he's done really well since replacing Montella statistically. People might not like to agree with that, but the numbers are there. But for me, I would probably stick with probably Inzaghi.
For me, I'd actually have to go. Okay, the obvious choice is Max Allegri.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's obvious.
But I'd have to go with Maurizio Sarri.
Sorry?
If I'd take a team like this. Okay, realistically, if you took a 3-5-2 team like this, you'd give it to Antonio Conte.
Because he works wonders with everything.
Yeah, but you know what? Sarri, he did a really good job with Napoli last season. Obviously, they kind of bottled themselves at the end on their Scudetto race. But he did a really good job. He's doing a fantastic job with Chelsea right now.
Yeah.
He's a funny coach to watch. He has a different kind of personality. Yeah. He smokes cigarettes on the sidelines. Yeah. So it's fun to watch. You mentioned Marco Giampaolo. Okay,
Yeah.
if there's one kind of smaller team coach, it'd be Roberto D'Aversa from Parma. I'd have to name. He's done a fantastic job with Parma, bringing them back up to the Serie A and putting them into contention um, for Europa League. I don't think they're going to make it. They lost again this weekend to Sampdoria, to
Gianpaolo's side, yeah.
Gianpaolo's side. But the Versa's done a really good job, and there's a lot of good coaches in Italy now.
Even
some are getting fired,
Yeah, some are getting fired. Yeah, but even De Zerbi for Sassuolo.
Yep,
He's another name that's kind of under the radar because it's a team like Sassuolo, but you know what? He's a good coach, and I'm pretty sure because of him, Kevin Prince Boateng even went to Sassuolo, or even thought of going to Sassuolo, because he really persuaded him and motivated him to come to a team like Sassuolo. That, to be honest with you, I would have never thought that Boateng would have been there. So I mean, he worked some wonders. He got a win I think on the weekend as well. So De Zerbi's another guy that should be definitely mentioned.
And they're 2 points off from a Champions League spot.
Exactly. So they're no joke.
So this being our last episode of 2018, got to ask you, Adreano.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've only been doing this since September, but the entire calendar year, what's your favorite moment out of soccer? Any aspect of soccer, World Cup, Champions League, MLS, I don't care. Name me one moment that's going to stick out to you when you think of 2018 in soccer.
Wow, I mean, you really got me. You can go first if you have something, but I mean, you really put me on the spot there.
I know it's something we didn't talk about.
No, we didn't. I mean,
I'm thinking of something I know you're going to say.
Let's go.
Manolas.
Oh, Manolas.
Manolas.
Manolas. You know what? Okay, maybe, yeah. I mean, those were great moments last year, Champions League. It was so good to see, Italian teams go as far as they did. And, I mean, a team like Manolas, we were going behind Roma so hard, I remember, in those games. And, they knocked off a team like Barcelona and, should have been, probably in the final as well. But, Liverpool took care of them. But, you know what? I mean, that would probably be one of the standout moments. I mean, I know Italy wasn't in the World Cup, but, it was good to see Croatia go as far as they did. I mean, I think nobody should bat an eye on a team like Croatia, internationally. But yeah, no, probably the Manolas celebration, the Manolas deal, and all that, drama with Roma last year in Champions League definitely would make 2018, a highlight.
For me, I'm going to go for a wild card pick as a Juventus fan. This might not come as a popular pick, but for me, the top moment is a quarterfinal draw against Real Madrid, because once Ronaldo scored his bicycle kick, that led to the Juventus fans cheering. And he then, at that point, he wanted to come to Juventus. And you know what? That second leg, where Juventus goes to the Bernabeu and wins 3-1. You look at that game as a standalone game. Juventus wins 3-1 at the Bernabeu. It's a great result. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, we know what happened. Gianluigi Buffon got his red card. Mm-hmm. Ronaldo scored that penalty at the end when Real Madrid didn't deserve to win. But the first 89 minutes of that game was so much fun to watch, because it was Juventus that just didn't stop going. They were pushing. Mandzukic scored 2 goals. Mandzukic came in for Dybala, who had a red card. Mm-hmm. He came basically off the bench, and he scored 2 goals. And then Matuidi scores. Man, when Matuidi scored, I just went nuts. Our upstairs, Adriano, around the kitchen, the living room, I ran around in circles. I was so happy. Yeah. And I thought Juventus could do it. And then, obviously, things happened. Referees had decisions. But at the end of the day, that 2 legs led to Juventus as it is now with Ronaldo, and this is Juventus that could go on and win the Champions League. So, as they say, you gotta lose before winning, and that's certainly what Juventus has been doing in the Champions League.
No, but yeah, you gotta, as you said, to be the best, you gotta beat the best. So, you know what, they had a good run, and unfortunately, it didn't go their way. Next
on the Calcio Guys, we're looking ahead at all the holiday fixtures in the Serie A. You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CGO 1690. Lots of soccer ahead in this holiday break. You're listening to the Calcio Guys on CGO 1690 with Adreano Denaro and myself, Nicholas DiGiovanni. Unfortunately, our last episode of the year, there's going to be 3 more Serie A match days, so we're not going to do our usual predictions. Just so much soccer to go through. But, do you like this new kind of format where instead of taking the break at Christmas, Serie A's going for the games?
I mean, it's tough because we've been so used to the La Riposa, I guess you can say, over the the Christmas time, and I guess it's good. anytime there's soccer on, I mean, it's a good time. I guess I'm kind of old school. I kind of like the old way it was, but I mean, we'll see how it goes this year. I mean, it's only they're definitely evolving Serie A, and in Italy, and with everything going on with the league and everything. So I mean, I guess it's a good thing. I don't know. It's like what they have a Boxing Day game. They have games this Saturday. There's a game Saturday.
Yeah, so the whole league plays on Saturday.
Exactly.
The whole league plays on Boxing Day.
The 22nd and the 26th.
And then I think the whole league plays on the 29th.
On the 29th, yeah. And now there's a game right now, Milan Bologna, right now, 16th minute, 0-0 in Bologna.
You want to go with a live play-by-play, Adreano?
So who has the ball right now? No, but I mean, I guess it's good. I mean, as I said, when there's Calcio on, it's a good time. But I think it's going to get, probably fans are trying to get used to that whole system. I mean, I guess, they'll see how it goes this year and see how it goes, I guess, in years to come. But I think it's tough because it's a lot of games in a short amount of time. I know they usually do that during the season, but that's a lot. Like, I mean, the 22nd, the 26th, the 29th, Milan and Bologna are playing today, which is the 18th today. So there's not much of a rest period between now and about the New Year time. So it's going to be tough on the players, especially with teams that are injured or whatnot. But it's going to be tough and a bit. I think it will take some time to get used to.
It does. I think they're trying to go for kind of an England style because people are going to be available to watch the games.
That's true.
During this break.
That's true.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And England, what they do in England, I mean, they dominate worldwide in terms of TV rankings. And so you got to think about your fans worldwide in the Serie A. You got fans in Asia. You got fans here in North America. And you got to think about that. And you know what? I like it because I have time to watch it.
Well, yeah,
I have time to watch it, and I have less time in January, let's say. And you know what? It'd be boring. Sometimes it's boring the winter break when there's no soccer on. And now I love that all 10 games are this Saturday.
Yeah.
There's, we kind of saw this here. What I didn't like the City I did is a game on Friday, 3 games on Saturday, only 3 games Sunday 9 a.m. And then even a game on Monday. And
today Tuesday.
Yeah, the rare Tuesday game. They really spread out the schedule over the weekend. Whereas past years, it was like 6 games Sunday 9 a.m. and you'd watch La Drossa del Gol.
Yeah.
And then maybe 2 games on Saturday, 6:30 Sunday, 12 o'clock Sunday, and a 2:45 Sunday. And then this year it's different. So for once this year, we're gonna have all 10 games on one day, including 6 at Saturday 9 a.m. Lazio Cagliari actually kicks off 6:30, so 12:30 Italy time. Then Juventus Roma finishes it off Saturday 2:30. Then you look ahead to the Boxing Day again, same thing. So there's a game at 6:30. Milan plays Frosinone Boxing Day at 6:30, which I know you're not getting up for.
No, probably not. Well, actually, maybe I have to work that day, so maybe I'll catch it before work. But that's too early for me.
It's very tiring after a long day of Christmas eating.
I'll probably be snoozing. That's definitely what's gonna happen.
And then on Boxing Day, there's 5 more games at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And then 3 more at 12, so that's really rare. And then 1 at 2:30, that's Inter Napoli. And then finally on the 29th, Juventus plays Sampdoria at 6:30. I'm not watching that. I'm going to watch that on demand on DAZN.
Shout out DAZN.
And then Milan plays a 2:30 game on the 29th against Spal.
Yeah.
And what I like about the scheduling, there's some rivalry games. I mean, this weekend, Juventus Roma and Milan Fiorentina. Sassuolo Torino is going to be a good game too. I mean, that's kind of it for those bigger games. But
I mean, Torino Sassuolo too. I think is not bad.
Yeah,
You said that?
Yeah,
sorry, sorry. Then Empoli Samp. I think it should be a decent game as well.
Yeah, that's true. Empoli's been picking it up, so there's some good games this Saturday. What games? How about the next match day?
On the Boxing Day? Well, I mean, I think the Atalanta Juve game. I don't think that'll be an easy game for Juve. I think that'll be a decent game at least. The Fiorentina Parma. I would like to see that pretty. Maybe a goal fest in that game. I could see that. The Roma Sassuolo game. That's another middle of the pack matchup there. So I definitely would see that as another good game. And then I mean obviously the Inter Napoli game. That's a huge game, especially the two teams fighting for that. I guess second, maybe Scudetto winning spot, but we'll definitely have to see.
More for second, but that'll be a good game. Boxing Day.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, you're working.
Yeah. No,
working,
but shout out to the zone. You get on demand anywhere, so on the phone, on wherever. So it's
You
good.
get free Wi-Fi at Fairview.
Yeah, so it's good. But,
And then what I like, it's gonna be tough for all teams, but they play 3 days later on the 29th, so they don't play on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve or anything close to the holidays. So I like that they're playing on the Saturday, the 29th. A few more good games: Parma, Roma, Juventus, Sampdoria, Lazio, Torino, Sassuolo, Atalanta. No, I don't want to say Milan Spal. And then after that, so their break is actually in January, right through January. So they come back on the 20th.
yeah,
Which
I think there's some Coppa Italia in that mix there
on the
for some of those teams.
on the 13th.
Yeah,
So the Coppa Italia is actually, it's rare that it's played on a weekend.
yeah,
But on the 13th, it's then.
it kinda
But
has
the rest
to.
of the league is back on the 20th.
Mhm.
We'll be back January 8th, teeing up those Coppa Italia games, looking back on all the holiday fest.
Yeah, and what's to come for 2019?
Yeah, and so looking at all these match days, these 3 match days.
Yeah.
What's the one game you can only choose one game that you're most looking forward to?
Well, I mean, probably the 22nd, Milan Fiorentina. That's it's a big. I mean, I guess one of the bigger games of the games that Milan has in this stretch during the holiday season. I mean, they're playing Bologna right now, 22nd minute. It's still 0-0, but I do think they should be getting these points. They play the Spal game, which I think they should be getting points. They play Frosinone. I think they should be getting points. So this Fiorentina game on the 22nd at 9 a.m. Should be, probably pretty crucial. It's Fiorentina's on the rise right now, and Milan is kind of, in a little bit of a bubble. But I think probably that's like finishing off 2018. I see that game as probably like the headliner for Milan as well.
So looking at the table right now, so Juventus is +8 on Napoli. The 4 teams in Champions League spots right now are Juventus, Napoli, Inter, and Milan.
Yeah.
And then in Europa League spots, there's Lazio, Atalanta, and then Roma's in that 7th kind of bubble Europa League spot, depending who wins the Coppa Italia. It's obviously tight, right in the middle. Coming out of these 3 holiday match days, do you see big changes coming to this table? Kind of teams starting to separate.
I mean, I would hope so. It makes it more interesting. That's for one. But I don't know. I could maybe see those from 4th to like, I don't know, 7, 8, maybe like flip-flopping a bit, because like, I don't know, that middle of the pack, it's been so close for like pretty much the whole season, and I could definitely see teams rotating in that like Europa League / last Champions League spot. I mean, Milan has to definitely hold on to that, if they obviously want to get into Champions League. But if they do that, I would definitely be happy. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's definitely flip-flopping amongst teams like Milan, like Lazio, Atalanta, Roma, maybe Sassuolo, maybe Sampdoria. We'll have to see, wait and see. But I definitely think that probably that middle of the pack will definitely be all over the place.
Will Kiev get their first win?
Oh,
Let's see who they're playing.
I mean, do they play Frosinone anytime? No, but I mean,
I think they already played them.
But maybe Bologna. I mean, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. What's Gattuso screaming about now?
So they play Inter on Saturday.
Okay.
Sampdoria. Oh, they do play Frosinone on the 29th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Kevo's schedule during the holidays.
So there you go. Maybe Di Carlo gets a win, Frosinone.
I see them beating Inter.
Yeah, I mean,
Imagine.
I would jump up for joy if that happened, man. The Snakes would definitely be pissed, but I mean, I think that would be good for Serie A. Definitely good for Serie A. Kievo gets that big one against Inter.
Against Inter.
I'm pretty sure all my boys at Milan Montreal will definitely be happy for that.
Especially Marcello, the birthday boy.
The birthday boy Marcello, Steve as well. Bakayoko Ko, I think, just got a little bit injured. So, Steve, if you're watching, man, I don't know what's happening with him.
This is definitely going to be tough for Milan, this stretch of games. Like you said, the injured teams, Milan's definitely one of them.
Yeah. They got Romagnoli back, so that's a positive, but no, they're still depleted. So
he's going to score a 90th minute winner today.
Let's hope. I mean, but no, I mean, even just generally, for all the teams, we said there's so many consecutive games. That's not easy for anybody. No matter if you have a good bench, not much of a bench, or just somewhere in between, it'll definitely be tough. Regardless, there's, as we said, games so consecutive, and they're going to really have to fight hard to get the points that they need. So it's going to be good, and it's going to be fun to watch, I think.
Can't complain when there's a lot of soccer.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, exactly.
I will complain because we have to wait 2 months for the Champions League to return.
Yeah,
which is never fun.
And a couple weeks to get back on air here. It's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be a bit of a loss there, and it's gonna be sad to not come on Tuesdays and do this. But I know I've definitely enjoyed it so far in 2018.
I'm gonna miss it because after every match day, I've always watched the highlights, I've gotten like clips and all that.
Yeah.
So
You got in gear.
Yeah, exactly. So for these 3 match days, I'm gonna watch it obviously, but it's like, oh yeah, I don't really have to get clips or anything. I just kind of watch, enjoy it, pay attention to my Fanto Calcio team.
Yeah,
I got destroyed this weekend in Fanto Calcio. So
man, who knows what's going on in that thing anymore? It's like you lose every week. I don't understand. But no, but I mean, yeah, you said it's good. You're gonna be able to probably watch a bit more, and it's Christmas time, and the holiday season, and spending time with the family is always important. So it's good to take a bit of a break, a little bit of a riposa, and come fresher and better in 2019.
a minute before Erica Morris comes on to do Techno Snob, if Santa was real and he had to ask for one thing regarding soccer, what would it be?
Milan in Champions League.
Milan in Champions League. I don't know what I'd have to ask for. I guess Juve
What?
winning
the Champions
winning
League?
Champions League.
No, for sure.
Goes to show our different expectations. Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you to all of our listeners.
Yeah, we really, really, really appreciate it.
So far through this 2018. We're going to be back in 2019, same day, same time, Tuesdays at 2. Follow us on Twitter, the Calcio Guys. I'm going to set up an Instagram, a YouTube. That's all going to be set up during the holidays. We're going to have a logo out.
Bigger and better in 2019, I'm telling you.
I'm so excited. I've had so much fun. We're going to see you in 2 weeks.
We're going to bring this better than ever, and we're going to really bring Calcio to the forefront, especially North America.
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.